we're developing a digital assistant for the operating room. So the problem we're addressing are team errors that happen during surgery. And this is one example that happened at UHN. So here, 2 surgical staff don't know if ice is needed during their procedure. Now, if you're at Starbucks, that's an okay question to have. But in the operating room, this can have severe consequences. FYI, you do need ice to preserve the liver during a transplant. The surgical market is quite big. So every year, the US spends about $1.1 trillion on hospital care alone, and more than half goes into surgical care. But only 30% of hospital visits are surgical visits, though ORs produce 60% of hospital revenue. That means that a surgical visit is about 3 times more expensive than a non-surgical visit. Of this budget, about $27.3 billion are lost because teams make errors during surgery. Actually, about 8.4 miscommunication events occur per procedure, and this can lead to things such as readmission, time delays, and in some cases, even surgical malpractice suits. To put things into perspective, if we're able to grow UnityOR to a $100 million company by solving this problem, we would only capture 0.3% of the opportunity. Now, zooming into the operating room, here I've shown you an example of a surgeon and anesthesiologist collaborating on a case. But in real life, it's much more complicated than that. You can have up to 20 people working on one single surgery, and things get messy. Our solution is a digital assistant for the operating room, so we provide intelligent reminders during critical or error-prone steps of the surgery. We also have an add comment feature, so you can annotate the surgery as it progresses. Unfortunately, I can't show you too much more because of intellectual property protection, but we've collaborated with more than 30 people to develop the solution from across the country. We applied engineering principles and design thinking to create our solution and iterated 6 times. At that point, we started hearing things like, I can see this becoming standard in all ORs in 5 years, and decided to move into surgical testing. Our value proposition is that we take the complicated nature of the operating room and simplify it and unify the team so that they can focus on the patient. And this brings about several benefits to surgical staff as well as this hospital. So by improving workflow, we can reduce time delays, reduce readmission, and reduce litigation, which leaves you with safer and more efficient surgeries. Our competitive landscape is divided between intraoperative and extraoperative, EMR, and engagement. As you can imagine, there are a lot of EMR solutions, and our engagement competitors focus on preoperative preparation or postoperative recovery. Our closest competitors are DORA, but this is an instrument tracking solution for the OR, as well as the WHO safety checklist, but this stops right before the surgery starts, and it's a piece of paper. Right now we're working on testing UnityOR in surgical simulation environments and in 2 of them, as well as developing a business plan so that we can become profitable. We have a preemptive agreement with Women's College Hospital so that we can test our solution in their ORs, but this is dependent on our simulation trials, and that's where the funding from this competition would go should we win. Our scale-up model includes expanding into other hospitals at UHN, as well as data analytics so that we can provide quality improvement solutions to our clients. And finally, vertical expansions into other team-based units, such as the emergency room or the intensive care unit. So our team has previously raised more than $500,000 for our research projects, and we have experience in medical device commercialization, in software engineering, and big data analytics. And our advisory board are leading experts in entrepreneurship, financials, and of course surgery. They help make sure that everything we do at UnityOR is on par with current surgical practices. I'd also like to thank everyone who we've spoken to. They've actually contributed a lot, and UnityOR would not be possible without them. Thank you, and I'll take questions.
So out of the gate, I think my first question is, you can't solve all surgeries day one, so which ones do you start with to focus on? And we'll start there.
There are certain surgical specialties where the teams know each other more there's a high frequency where the teams are familiar with each other versus not. For example, in cardiology, they usually work together, but in places like neurosurgery or emergency surgery, about 20% of the time is how often they know each other. So we want to start off with teams that don't really know each other well.
And then just use any hospital as an example, of all of the surgeries that they do, what percentage of their surgeries would be one of the ones that kind of land in those categories?
What percentage of surgeries that are like neurology or
Yeah, that land in the category where the folks don't know each other.
Well, this depends on the hospital and how many operations they perform. So this number, it's hard to say because you could say around 50, for example. For example, if you go to a hospital that focuses on cardiology, then you have to say about 70. But if you go somewhere where they focus on oncology, then that number becomes closer to 20 to 30. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
Question for you around utility, and so I'm not sure about looking at surgical errors, like how easy will it be to demonstrate that in a real world setting, number one. Number two, what about surgical throughput? Because a lot of solutions I've seen in this space don't talk about errors, they talk about throughput. So how quickly can this kind of speed up patients' journey through the OR? So does the platform give you an opportunity to do that as well?
The patient's journey through the OR can be sped up, but we're focusing more on efficiency of the surgery as well as readmission. So the less errors that the team makes, the less injuries to the patient. So they get readmitted less, there's less delays. And sometimes when these errors are discovered right before close, so then you would delay the surgery even further. So you save time that way.
Integration with other platforms within the hospital as well as EMR data and other things so that even when they're discharged to the wards, with this information can help in the continuity of care with the patient. Do you have the opportunity to connect well with other platforms within the hospitals where you deploy?
Yes, specifically in Toronto. In our competitive slide, I showed Epic, and that's what's rolled out at UHN right now. They're actually very user-friendly, and they have an API, so you can easily integrate into their solution. So data sharing is very easy.
Well, a big challenge is every time when you change the workflow of doctors, nurses, is extremely challenging. And this is where the product is extremely valuable, but then ironically, that's also where it's a little bit hard to push for adoption if it works. So can you talk more about how does this fit into the current workflow, and then when you engage with a hospital, typically, like, where's the entry point?
So I have to be careful how much information I give here, but we have a way to determine what the most common team errors are, and then we apply a team-specific solution. So I said that the reminders are for critical or error-prone steps, and we can identify which ones those are for the team. And we collaborate with the team, with the surgeon to do that. So we get familiar with the surgeon first, so that way we can apply a case-specific solution.
Well, in that case, can you talk more about which portion is more of a service and which portion is more of a like pure software solution?
So the service is that like I said, we identify the error-prone steps, and we try to coordinate the team through them so that everyone is on the same page when those steps happen. In terms of as a software solution, this would be later on when we want to do data analysis, so we can provide quality improvement back to the hospitals.
So the first step is the service, and then hopefully that will become more standardized.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, you didn't really show us any of the actual product. I'm curious, like, where does this live? I want to walk through the people using it. What are they seeing? Where are they seeing it? When are they interacting with it? How frequently are they engaging with it? How should I visualize this?
Okay, I see. So this is a web application. So the way you would log in, and you can see the surgeries that you're performing that day or the next couple of days. You can check if you want. You can check what the prompts are, and you can modify them. So maybe you don't need this particular prompt for that particular case. It should take only 2 minutes. You log into the surgery, and you would have patient information displayed. You say, yes, we're starting, and there's certain screens that you have to go through, and then you go right into the prompts. Each prompt either has a timer attached to it or is a prompt-dependent prompt, and it's assigned to one person. This would also be voice controlled, I forgot to mention, through an earpiece, and we found that was acceptable. You would get a notification in your ear to know to look at the screen, so you don't have to check every 5 minutes if there's something for you there. You'll know when to look. At the end, the data is collected, so if you add new comments, add new prompts, interact with the reminders, data is collected, and you have a handoff summary sheet. So that way you don't have to write, and we also have a dictations feature, so you don't have to keep in mind everything that happened, and then at the end of the day, put all that information down. Everything will be available for you, no pen, no paper.